Hello students, this is Mrs. Miller, and the purpose of this video is to show you how to respond to constructed response items when we're questioning the author. With our standards, one of the things we have to do is be able to understand why an author put certain pieces of information in a passage in text. So in this video, I'm going to show you my thinking as I think through what the question is asking and why I think the author did that. And then I'm going to support what I say with details from the text. That's very important. We always have to support our thinking with details from the text. Here's the question. In the 7th paragraph, the author writes the following. Prior to the game, Kaepernick, Reed, and Boyer had discussed ways to show respect for the military while also protesting racial issues in the country, and they arrived at taking a knee, the quarterback said. The question is this: what is the author's purpose in including this detail in her report? Support your answer with details from the text. Since I see that this is the 7th paragraph, I'm going to go ahead and go back up to the text, and I'm going to read around the 7th paragraph. I can see here in the 6th paragraph, it says former NFL player and Green Beret Nate Boyer, a guest of Kaepernick. Well, I need to know what a Green Beret is. So I just went up to open up a new tab, and I see a Green Beret is a member of the U.S. Army Special Forces. Oh, so that really helps me with my understanding as to why the author told me that they discussed the ways to show respect for the military, and they arrived at taking a knee. So knowing what a Green Beret is really helps me. His last name is Boyer, and that's who the author was addressing right here. So remember, we use Christina Smecken's yes ma'am method of responding to constructed response questions. So this is just my own thoughts. These are my own thoughts. The author's purpose in including this detail in her report was to show the reader that Kaepernick doesn't mean to come across as anti-military or anti-American since he isn't standing for the playing of the national anthem. Now I have to back up what I'm saying with details from the text. So I'm going to go back to the text and search for some details that support my thinking that he doesn't want to come across as anti-military or anti-American. So I'm going to choose to paraphrase my information this time. I'm going to take the information about a former military person who said that it would be a way to show respect to the military while still protesting. So that's going to be the first detail that I use to back up what I'm saying. So here I have my first piece of evidence to back up what I had inferred up here. So the text states that Boyer, a former member of the U.S. Special Armed Forces, thought that taking a knee was a way to show respect while still protesting. And of course, I got my information from the passage. I just paraphrased the information that was here. Okay? Now I need to find a second piece of evidence to support the inference that I made when responding to the question. The next piece of evidence I'm going to use comes from paragraph 14, where Kaepernick was saying the media painted him as anti-American, anti-men and women of the military, but he said that's not the case at all. So this is the second piece of evidence that I'm going to use. I could very easily use some details from the 15th paragraph as well. And something that I can do is paraphrase the information so that I'm combining this. So here's my second piece of evidence. Again, I decided to take information from both the 14th and 15th paragraphs and combine it into one sentence. The text also states that Kaepernick said he isn't anti-American or anti-military, and he has the utmost respect for those in the military and the things they do. Now, this final sentence is where I wrap up my response. It's where I show that I do know what I'm talking about and I'm tying everything together. So what do these details show as it relates to the what the author said right here and what the question is? So my final sentence says this: these details show that the author included the aforementioned detail so that the reader would know that Kaepernick isn't showing disrespect for the military by taking a knee instead of standing for the playing of the national anthem. Now, something I want to caution you against. I've noticed in the past that when some of you write your concluding sentence, you're not tying it back to the original question, or in this case, the quote that was used. Make sure that you're doing that so that your final sentence makes sense. So now I'm going to read my entire response. The author's purpose in including this detail in her report was to show the reader that Kaepernick doesn't mean to come across as anti-military or anti-American since he isn't standing for the playing of the national anthem. The text states that Boyer, a former member of the U.S. Special Armed Forces, thought that taking a knee was a way to show respect while still protesting. The text also states that Kaepernick said he isn't anti-American or anti-military, and he has the utmost respect for those in the military and the things they do. These details show that the author included the aforementioned detail so that the reader would know that Kaepernick isn't showing disrespect for the military by taking a knee instead of standing for the playing of the national anthem. So once again, this thought came from my own head. This is my own inference that I made, but I backed it up with details from the text. And then this is my own thought as well. I like to restate some of what I put in my first sentence with my last sentence. It just is a nice way to wrap everything up.